Hey, y'all, welcome to Coffee with Regina. This week we have Juan Dargent. Hopefully, I did pronounce that right, with us today. And we're here for a very interesting chat this morning because Juan helps entrepreneurs and executives who feel stuck in their lives move forward. And I have to say, when I was in corporate world way back when, I could have used you, Juan, because I was one of those people. And he's got this program called the Core Resonance Process, and he gives guaranteed results to help you get unstuck and get to where you want to be. He's been serving all of his clients from a very young age, and in 2014, he founded the Energy Connect and started focusing on successful individuals, those entrepreneurs and executives, helping them with life-transforming breakthroughs. So welcome, Juan.
Thank you for the good introduction, and thank you for having me with having a cup of coffee with you, even though my cup is not here.
Yeah, that's okay. And when it comes to the stuff that you do, because we've chatted a number of times now,
Mm-hmm.
and from our conversations that when it comes to the conversation of energy, it's one of my favorite conversations because just everything is energy. And I know you're a Reiki master, and I know you're certified in the energy work. And, there's just so much that is interesting to me personally. And I have learned through the time that I've been looking into this and studying this, that it's really super important to understand some of this stuff, especially if you're an entrepreneur.
Oh, definitely. We we tend to talk about energy around. We throw that word around a lot, and we really don't think about the meaning of it and how it affects us. And you mentioned that everything is energy, and with that in mind, so we are being affected by our surrounding, uh, virtual or real, because we live a lot of us live in a virtual world, and it does affect us even though we don't see it. Our virtual worlds, like right now we are in the virtual world. It's the energy, the frequencies that goes around that is carrying the sound waves
Yeah.
between the two camera and things like that. Those things affect us also. uh, it's better known as EMF, electromagnetic frequency. So the virtual do affect the real.
Yeah. And you just said that, and it actually brought some things to my mind because, it's true that it's one thing when you have the energy when you're face to face with somebody. You
Mm-hmm.
can really connect with their physical energy. This virtual energy stuff is new to a lot of folks who, maybe, pre-COVID did a lot of their business face to face, and then all of a sudden shifted to doing a lot of virtual stuff, which many entrepreneurs and even business people, there's still a lot of people who work from home and that kind of thing that work in corporate world. And this this adds like a whole new energy level on top of that connection because, like you said, it's the energy, it's the sound, it's the frequencies, it's everything that's coming from the equipment that we use. How does that affect us?
Well, there's a good and the bad, like in mostly everything that we have in our reality on Earth. It's there's a polarity. There's a positive, the negative, the black or the white, and everything in between. So the bad thing about it is the emission that is reflected through the screen and things like this. But there are measures that we can do to prevent uh, it from affecting us that much. We can use different, like if we are here and we are in front of the computer a lot. Let's say there are glasses we can use. their screen we can add to our computer to cut those harmful frequencies.
Mhm.
So there are ways to medicate that. Now coming
Okay, I
up,
don't, I
coming,
don't know if I can do this or not, but yeah,
yeah,
this is one of my screens. So for all you folks who might be looking at this going, what's he talking about with screens and stuff? This is a screen that helps me with my monitors to block some of the stuff that Juan is talking about right now. And they're actually really cool and they aren't expensive.
yes. And the other energy we are talking about is the frequency that we perceive when we are meeting somebody. It's like we don't really see it, it's around us, but we perceive it. And everybody does, even though some people will perceive it at a stronger level. Good example is everybody has been in a situation where you go in a meeting or you go in a room or to a party and you are immediately drawn to a certain area of that room. Why do we do that? It's because we are more attuned to that area, that specific energy center in that room, in that location, instead of the other places. So that resonate more with us. And what we resonate with, we are attracted to. And also, this is why sometimes we attract certain people, we attract certain events in our life without realizing it. If our resonance is there, and in energy is different from magnet. Magnet opposite poles attract. In energy, same polarity will attract.
Mhm.
So uh, if I resonate at a certain frequency, let's say I'm happy, I'm resonating, I'm very happy, I will attract people that are happy around me. And at the same time, I can attract other people that are not that happy, but when they come into my circle, they will be happy. It's because, again, frequency works that way. The highest resonating frequency will tend to bring the lower resonating frequency to it. And if that doesn't happen, the higher resonating frequency will tap down a little to adjust.
Okay, so Juan, let me stop you there for 1 second because that sounds like really super technical when it comes to energy, right? So give us an example. The first thing that came to my mind when you said that was, I think it was Jim Rohn who said you are the sum of the 5 people you hang out with most. And it's that energy. It's if all of those people are happy, positive people, then you've got your happy, positive resonance bubble. If those negative ones come in, it starts pulling at it. So give us some examples of what you mean by this.
Okay, I'm going to give you 2 examples that mostly people know about. One, uh, it's we don't have it that much around in the United States, but in Europe, there's a lot of clock stores
Hmm.
where you go in and you buy clock. There's a bunch of clock all over the place, all around the store. There's clock, and there's ticking clock. But when you walk in, you hear only one tick, and
Hmm.
I don't know if your relatives, your grandfather or your parents had those clock, the actual mechanical clock in the house. If they have 2 of them, we don't hear like talk talk. We hear only one tick tock. They synchronize themselves. That's happening in nature everywhere. And another example that for people that been, especially, I'm going to say women because you are a women's group, and if they've been to a dorm when they were in college, they may have noticed that everybody in that room has their period pretty much at the same time.
It's true.
Yes, it is true. I know it. I did my research and find out that this is true. It's not like something that talk about. So why? Again, our body will resonate and will try to resonate at the frequency that is around
Mhm.
us.
So let me ask you this then. So when you're in that space where maybe you're feeling stuck, you're feeling overwhelmed, you're feeling not quite right.
Hmm.
You've got that kind of energy going on. So how do you go about how do you get out of that?
Well, there are some practical things that you can do. One is first get help. Get that because very it's unlikely that you'll be able to get out of it by yourself. It takes it's like when they say when you're in the forest you see the tree, you don't see the whole forest.
Mhm.
Because when you're in a situation, it's you don't see all the subtleties, all the nuance of the situation. You see just one thing that is bothering you. And the thing that you can do is step away from what is causing what you think is causing uh, the, the block or the stuckness, lack of better word.
Yeah.
Step away from it doesn't mean like you stop doing your work. Take take a couple of days, go out, go on a vacation, go somewhere else, and see and notice what happened to your body. Not
Mm.
the very important thing is to notice things around what happened, and our body talk to us. Unfortunately, they do not have the gift of language, but they do talk to us. And a lot of the the way they talk to us and get our attention is through pain.
Mm.
Whenever
Yeah.
we feel a pain somewhere, it means like, okay, stop, listen. There's something going on, so you need to pay attention. And we are trained not to listen
That's a key that you just said right there. We're trained not to listen and
to our
not to pay
body.
attention to what's going on. And so I absolutely agree with you that when I chat with a lot of people who say, I'm overwhelmed, I'm stuck. And that's like you said, it's the first thing you have to do is just stop because you really can't see the forest for the trees, right? It's you see your stuckness, you see your overwhelm, and you're just in that. And you need to stop and you need to, whether it's talking to somebody else, working with somebody else, or doing something where somebody else can, observe what they see going on because you're not seeing it. And sometimes you get into that pattern where it's like, I'm stuck, I'm stuck, I'm stuck, I'm stuck. I can't get out of this. And you keep using that language. And it's really, you don't see yourself actually basically creating more of a problem. You need
Yes.
somebody else to help you to get you to stop that mindset.
Yeah, and you said something really important here, the language. While we are looking at it, the words has also energy
Mm.
in it. The word itself doesn't have energy. Let me put it this way. But the word we use have been used to express certain things by so many people that once we use it, it is expressed in that energy form.
Yes.
And so when we start saying, I'm stuck, we create that spiraling, downward spiraling instead of upward spiraling. Because when we say that word stuck, it like it have a meaning that is so strong that it pull us from our true form, our true energy.
So when you're saying that you're stuck, you're going to remain stuck as long as you keep using that language because when you talk about the energy, it's the frequency and the vibration. and it's that resonance. You're way down here.
Hmm.
You're on the scale of that frequency, and when you're in that low energy frequency, you can just kind of like circle in there until you consciously decide to do something about it. It's like anybody who is, alcoholic, drug addict, or something like that. That's what they say. It's like the first step is acknowledging that you've got a problem. And it's the same thing when it comes to being overwhelmed, being stuck. That mindset of I'm overwhelmed, I'm stuck. If you ever use that language, that immediately should make you stop and say, okay, I've got to do something about this. There's something not right here.
Yes, that's another good point you just brought out, is that acknowledging things. It's very important.
Mhm.
And again, in our new age stuff, is a big thing about, we don't want to focus on, lack of better word, I'm going to say negativity.
Mhm.
Always think positive. That doesn't work, because there will be negativity in your life. And when this happens, what do? So we need to acknowledge it's there. And once we acknowledge something, it has the way of, we are taking back our power from it. So once we acknowledge it's there, okay, so the pull is less.
Mhm. Yeah, and you can only acknowledge something in your conscious mind. We have these, the subconscious mind is kind of ruling a lot of people's lives, and it's usually automatically react to things, and you automatically think things, and you have these limiting beliefs that are keeping you in your place until you acknowledge it and bring it to the focus and forefront. That is, I think that's the key.
Yes, and there's a very simple tool that you can use whenever you feel that it's not going to, let's say you are stuck, it's not going to help you be getting out of that situation,
Mhm.
but it's going to bring you into awareness of certain things. So when, and it not only is stuck in anything you do, let's say you are in a conversation with somebody and you tend to, okay, I'm going to tell that person, oh, I'm going to jump around because I want to express what I'm doing. I need to tell that person, and instead of letting that person finish the sentence or whatever. So what you can do when you see this happening, just step back a little, and what you can say, it's, I've heard it somewhere. I don't know who exactly said that. So it's not mine.
Mhm.
Just say, am I awake?
I awake.
By just saying that, you it's a pattern interrupt. Basically, in psychology, I think you will call that a pattern interrupt. And some people use a rubber band when things happen. They like snap. I don't like pain, so I don't like pain. I don't like to bring pain back to regurgitate something that is painful. No, it's not my thing. So I like that thing said, am I awake? It's like, okay, just step back. By just saying that, you interrupt the pattern. And then you can go back and say, okay, what am I doing that I'm not supposed to be doing? Let's
Mhm.
say, am I completely engaged with that person, or am I just thinking about what I'm going to say to that person?
Yeah, it's about being present.
Yes.
Yeah.
By doing that, you become more present. And once you're present, you will be more aware of anything in your surrounding. So going back to somebody who is feeling stuck, by being present, one, there's a release, if you want,
Mm.
because we are not thinking about the past that is pulling us down. Usually it's the past that is pulling us down, something happened. Or we are not thinking about the future on the other end, which like give us more anxiety, because we are putting all that thing that may happen, that most of the time never happen.
It's a lot of pressure.
So by taking releasing that, being present at that moment, it opened the space
Mhm.
for you to be more aware. We all, I like to say, we all have like a little battery that we have around, and this is our energy. We have a supply of energy. And if we are using our energy to pull things from the past or to pull on things that are projecting in the future, our battery has less power to give us to do what we need to do at this very moment. So if we take it, we unplug those, so we have a fully charged battery that we can use right now to address what we need to address. And when we take decision also in the moment without judgment or anything like that, we make better decision.
Right.
So at that point, it's like, okay, things are not going that well. Let me get help. So by just saying, getting into the flow of things at that very moment, when you decide on who to get help from, it's important.
And that help, I've chatted with a lot of people. That help doesn't necessarily mean that it's professional doctor help. I mean, you could start by chatting with your friends, chatting with your colleagues. You could, it's literally, you just said it, it's the pattern interrupt. You need to interrupt what's going on and bring yourself into a different space. And a friend can help you do that, a colleague can help you do that. If you need more help, yes, then yeah, seek out professional help. However, it's like you don't necessarily need to go there all the time. There's
Yeah.
people like you who are like, you're not a medical doctor. You're trained though in helping people shift their energy. And even as a Reiki master and that kind of thing, that you can help alter and bring people to a better place.
Yes. And what happened is like, once you find that better place, it's yours forever.
Mhm.
You begin that inner space that you find it. It will start small. It's like a fertile space, if you want, and you put a seed there, a seed of growth, personal growth, and
Mhm.
that space will start expanding as you go through certain exercise. And things you need to do is not difficult. I don't tell people go meditate. And when you say that, okay, everybody around is talking about meditation.
Mhm.
Even
Right.
even our health system right now is pushing, if you want, meditation. Go meditate. Yes. How do you meditate? It takes a long time for somebody to master meditation. It is not easy. And go ask somebody to meditate. Okay, that person have a problem right now. Go meditating is not going to resolve that problem right now. What you need to do is first look at what meditation will give you. I'm not saying do not meditate.
Mhm.
Far from that. But need be practical. Get things that will resolve issues now.
Right.
We go to a psychologist. The issue is going to be resolved. I'm not saying not. But when you're in your business, you feel stuck, you cannot wait a year from now to keep doing your business. You need to move along with it. It's a clinical psychologist or whatever type of person in that field will be able to help you. They are going to dig into your psyche and bring things up, but it will take time. You will find a resolve mostly in I would say at least 6 months.
Yeah.
Again, I'm not judging those people. That's they are trained to do certain things. They know very well how to do it. But how is that helping you now? That's the thing. It's like, especially in business, you have a business, you feel stuck, things are not working that well. And one thing will start like that domino effect. It's everything around you will feel like it's crumbling, and everything around you is like, oh, the world is against me now.
Yeah, and you're right, because it seems like that's what you're attracting. It's like you latch on to whatever's not working, and then you
Mm-hmm.
just start attracting more things that aren't working, and you have that domino effect. One of the things that you talked about a while back, and I was thinking about the being present, is the energy of your breath. So even with meditation and everything else, it all goes back to your breath. So when you talk about like stopping to interrupt, how powerful is just stopping back and taking 3 deep breaths to reset your energy?
Well, the breath, the breath is something that is very, I would say, misused, or we don't know how to use it. And it's one of the only, uh, let me get my word right here. It is only things that is governed by our subconscious that we can take control of for most people.
Hmm.
It's important that most people, because some people can take control of their heartbeat and things like this, but that's a different conversation.
That's a long conversation.
But all of us can change our breathing pattern, and unfortunately, I would say most of us has learned how to breathe not properly, incorrectly breathe. The majority of people around us breathe with their intercostal muscle, which is they do very shallow. Even though if they are taking a deep breath, they are taking a very shallow breath. It's only the first third part of first 1/3 of the lungs that is being filled. The way we should be, the way we are designed to breathe is to breathe with the diaphragm. That's when athletes learn how to breathe this way. I'm pretty sure you know that.
Mhm.
Uh, Dancers know how to breathe that way. They relearn how to breathe that way. And singers, great singers, opera singers need to have control of that diaphragm to be able to hold that note. That because a note is the vibration of the breath that vibrates your vocal cord.
Mm.
So they need to be able to control that to hold that note for a very long time.
Yeah, and
And
go ahead.
yes, go ahead.
No, I was going to say, finish that thought.
A good way to know if we are breathing correctly is watch a baby. If you have some kids around, a baby around, just
Great
look how
idea.
baby breathe. They breathe with their tummy,
That's a great idea.
and look how a baby sit. They sit with a straight back.
Mhm.
They are not being trained to change yet.
You're right. It's a learned behavior. The shallow breathing, the posture, everything that we do, and I love that idea of look at a baby and see how a baby does it, because a baby doesn't know how to do it wrong yet.
Yes. And another exercise that we can do to know if we are breathing correctly is take the hand and put it on the belly and breathe. If you are breathing and your hand is moving, you are almost certain you are doing a proper breath. On your in breath, your belly should be going out. And your out breath, your belly should be coming in, which is the inverse that we usually do.
Mhm.
When we ask somebody to take a deep breath, they suck their stomach in and to take a deep breath.
It's true. I actually was, as you were saying that, I was breathing. I'm like, how am I breathing? And that was exactly what I was doing. I was doing the opposite.
Yeah, it's I would say like 80 to 90% of human, for somehow we've learned how to do that. I don't know how, when this happened, but it had happened at one point in our life, and we keep doing it, and we show it to the next generation and so forth.
Wow. Hey, we are pretty much out of time. We could talk. There's so much we could talk about here because there's a lot of different ideas. If you were to give somebody, we talk about that being, stuck in your energy, stuck in a place and stuff like that. If you were to offer like some tips, like some immediate tips that somebody could, put into action right away, what would be your best tips that you could, tell
Breathe.
them to do? What was that?
Breathe.
The right way. Breathe the right way.
Correct. Yes. And if you do it, definitely it's going. The breath has many functions. One, once we breathe properly, it oxygenate. It brings more oxygen to our brain, the thinking machine. And when there's more oxygen there, you have it. It becomes clearer. Take a couple of breaths, and your thinking become clearer. It's a physiological change in your physiology. So by just taking breath, you become clearer. And when you take the breath, you can center yourself also. Another quick example of centering is get your hands like this in front of you, bring it up from above your head, and bring it down. Bring it down with the intention of centering yourself.
Mm.
And notice what happened in your body.
I like that. That's a great tip. So just really easy. You could center yourself just by.
Everybody says center yourself, but nobody tells you how to do it.
And that is a great way to do it. So I think that's like one of the best tips I've had this week so far. So it's like center yourself, just, do the centering, because that literally, as soon as I did that, I was like, oh yeah, that totally works.
Yes, it does.
With a breath. So if you breathe and do it with the breath, yeah.
It's a little more effective.
I
That's
love
why
that.
you
That
see
is a
the
great
martial
tip.
artists and everything, they go, why do you think they do that?
Yeah, you know what? I never really thought about that before. Even when I'm doing my yoga and stuff like that, and
Yes.
it's all, you're right. It's all about recentering and getting back into that focus, back into the present, so that you can then reset your energy. So if you are feeling any kind of stuck or challenge or overwhelm or any of that not so good stuff, you have the power within you to recenter, refocus, and put yourself back into a better place.
Yes. And if it keep coming back, and sometimes you feel stuck, we have the perception of being stuck. There's two things that happen. Once is we are really stuck. There's that stuck energy there that we need to get to resolve. We don't. One other thing is that we never get rid of energy. We cannot. This energy cannot be created nor destroyed. What we can do, we change it, we transmute it into something useful.
Yeah.
And sometimes we have a perception. We perceive that we are stuck. We are not actually stuck. So by recentering, you will see, oh, that's just a figment of my imagination. It's nothing is really going on here. It just like I'm thinking too much.
I love that. And that is such a great tip. And we are now out of time. We could talk about this stuff for quite some time. If folks wanted to connect with you, to have more of a conversation and understand more of what you do and how you help people reset, how would they get a hold of you?
Well, the best way right now is they can go. I have a website, which is not necessarily exactly what I do, but the website is more what I would say, an information website about energy.
Okay. And where's that?
It's Healing Energy Connect.
HealingEnergyConnect.com.
They can go on my Facebook page, which is Facebook/Healing Energy Connect.
So Facebook, you're Healing Energy Connect. I'm throwing some of these out there so folks can connect up with you.
Sure. And those are two good ways to connect with me. So there will be contact information on Facebook. You can connect with me, send me a direct message and things like this. I believe that's all the two best way to reach me for right now.
Oh, this has been an awesome conversation. And when it comes to energy, I know you are like the king of energy when it comes to understanding and being able to pull out what's going on. So if any of our listeners, our viewers are out there and you're feeling stuck, you're feeling overwhelmed, definitely connect. If nothing else, connect with Juan on his Facebook page and just see what he puts out there and the information that he gives, because it is so interesting and everything really is energy. And so if everything is energy and we have the power to shift our energy, then the power is within us to transform to wherever we want to go.
The power is always within us, and we tend to look outside for the power.
That
Again, we've been trained to do that.
and that is a perfect note to end on. So the power is within you. You have the power. Thank you, Juan,
It
so
is my
much for
pleasure.
joining me today.
It is my pleasure.
This has been a great conversation, and we may have to have another conversation at another time to go deeper into some of this information.
True.
Yeah. So thank you all for tuning in, whether you're catching us live or on the replay, and joining us for a cup and a chat with purpose. Join us next time on Coffee with Regina. Bye for now.
Bye bye.